I hope everyone's having a great start to your day. I'm coming on to give you a little bit more of a read from A Return to Love. I'm back. And today's message is about getting out of your own way. This is referencing all the different ways that we self-sabotage and don't give ourselves permission to shine and to be great and all the things that get in the way of that. So this is a reading from A Return to Love for the morning. I hope everybody enjoys this love message this morning. We are in chapter 1, which is called Hell, chapter 1. There is no place for hell in a world whose loveliness can yet be so intense and so inclusive. It is but a step from there to heaven. All right, 1, the darkness. Many of us know in our hearts that we never really grew up. The problem isn't that we're lost or apathetic, narcissistic, or materialistic. The problem is we're terrified. A lot of us know that we have what it takes: the looks, the education, the talent, the credentials. But in certain areas, we're paralyzed. We're not being stopped by something on the outside, but by something on the inside. Our oppression is internal. The government isn't holding us back, or hunger, or poverty. We're not afraid we'll be sent to Siberia. We're just afraid, period. Our fear is free floating. We're afraid this isn't the right relationship, or we're afraid it is. We're afraid they won't like us, or we're afraid they will. We're afraid of failure, or we're afraid of success. We're afraid of dying young, or we're afraid of growing old. We're more afraid of life than we are of death. You'd think we'd have some compassion for ourselves, bound up in emotional chains the way we are, but we don't. We're just disgusted with ourselves because we think we should be better by now. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking other people don't have as much fear as we do, which only makes us more afraid. Maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe we're missing a chromosome. It's become popular these days to blame practically everything on our parents. We figure it's because of them that our self-esteem is so low. If only they'd been different, we'd be brimming with self-love. But if you take a close look at how our parents treated us, whatever abuse they gave us was often mild compared to the way we abuse ourselves today. It's true that your mother might have said repeatedly, "You'll never be able to do that, dear." But now you say to yourself, "You're a jerk. You never do it right. You blew it. I hate you." They might have been mean, but we are vicious. Many of us have slipped into a barely camouflaged vortex of self-loathing, and we're always, even desperately, seeking a way out, through growth or through escape. Maybe this degree will do it, or this job, this seminar, this therapist, this relationship, this diet, or this project. But too often the medicine falls short of a cure, and the chains just keep getting thicker and tighter. The same soap operas develop with different people in different cities. We begin to realize that we ourselves are somehow the problem, but we don't know what to do about it. We're not powerful enough to overrule ourselves. We sabotage, abort everything, our careers, our relationships, even our children. We drink, we do drugs, we control, we obsess, we codepend, we overeat, we hide, we attack. The form of the dysfunction is irrelevant. We can find a lot of different ways to express how much we hate ourselves, but express it we will. Emotional energy. My husband just got home. Garage door makes the puppies bark. Okay, guys. Hardy, sit. Emotional energy, but express it we will. Emotional energy has got to go somewhere. And self-loathing is a powerful emotion. Turned inward, it becomes our personal hells, addiction, obsession, compulsion, depression, violent relationships, illness. Projected outward, it becomes our collective hells. Violence, war, crime, oppression. But it's all the same thing. Hell has many mansions too. I remember years ago having an image in my mind that frightened me terribly. I would see a sweet, innocent little girl in a perfect white organdy apron pinned screaming with her back against a wall. A vicious, hysterical woman was repeatedly stabbing her through the heart with a knife. I suspected that both characters were me, that they lived as psychic forces inside my mind. With every passing year, I grew more scared of that woman with the knife. She was active in my system. She was totally out of control and I felt like she wanted to kill me. When I was most desperate, I looked for a lot of ways out of my personal hell. I read books about how our minds create our experience, how the brain is like a biocomputer that manufactures whatever we feed into it with our thoughts. Think success and you'll get it. Expect to fail and you will, I read. But no matter how much I worked at changing my thoughts, I kept going back to the painful ones. Temporary breakthroughs would occur. I would work on having a more positive attitude, get myself together and meet a new man or get a new job. But I would always revert to the patterns of self-betrayal. I'd eventually turn into a bitch with the man or screw up at the job. I would lose 10 pounds and then put them back on in 5 minutes, terrified by how it felt to look beautiful. The only thing more frightening than not getting male attention was getting lots of it. The groove of sabotage ran deep and automatic. Surely I could change my thoughts, but not permanently. And there's only one despair worse than God, I blew it, and that's God, I blew it again. My painful thoughts were my demons. Demons are insidious. Through various therapeutic techniques, I'd become very smart about my own neurosis. But that didn't necessarily exorcise them. The garbage didn't go away. It just became more sophisticated. I used to tell a person what my weaknesses were, using such conscious language that they would think, well, obviously, she knows what her patterns are, so she won't do that again. But oh yes, I would. Acknowledging my patterns was just a way of diverting someone's attention. Then I'd go into a rampage or other outrageous behavior so quickly and smoothly that no one, least of all myself, could do anything to stop me before I'd ruined a situation completely. I would say the exact words that would make the man leave or make someone fire me, or worse. In those days, it never occurred to me to ask for a miracle. For one thing, I wouldn't have known what a miracle was. I put them in the pseudo-mystical religious garbage category. I didn't know until reading A Course in Miracles that a miracle is a reasonable thing to ask for. I didn't know that a miracle is just a shift in perception. A miracle is a shift in perception. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there for this morning. How many more pages? There's some good stuff coming up. Okay, I'm going to finish this section. Then the next section is called the light. This was called the darkness. I once attended a 12-step meeting where people were asking God to take away their desire to drink. I had never gone overboard with any one particular dysfunctional behavior. It wasn't drinking or drugs that was doing me in. It was my personality in general. That hysterical woman inside my head. My negativity was as destructive to me as alcohol is to the alcoholic. I was an artist at finding my own jugular. It was as though I was addicted to my own pain. Could I ask God to help me with that? It occurred to me that, just as with any other addictive behavior, maybe a power greater than myself could turn things around. Neither my intellect nor my willpower had been able to do that. Understanding what occurred when I was 3 years old hadn't been enough to free me. Problems I kept thinking would eventually go away kept getting worse every year. I hadn't emotionally developed the way I should have. And I knew it. Somehow, somewhere, it was those wires, as though wires deep inside my brain had gotten crossed. Like a lot of other people in my generation and culture, I had gotten off track many years before, and in certain ways just never grew up. We've had the longest post-adolescence in the history of the world. Like emotional stroke victims, we need to go back a few steps in order to go forward. We need someone to teach us the basics. For me, no matter what hot water I had gotten into, I had always thought that I could get myself out of it. I was cute enough or smart enough or talented enough or clever enough. And if nothing else worked, I could call my father and ask for money. But finally, I got myself into so much trouble that I knew I needed more help than I could muster up myself. At 12-step meetings, I kept hearing it said that a power greater than I could do for me what I couldn't do for myself. There was nothing else to do, and there was no one left to call. My fear finally became so great that I wasn't too hip to say, God, please help me. That's the message for this morning, is that there are areas in our lives that we are going to have to invite God into in order to see a different result, in order to experience healing. Therapy's not going to do it, right? Journaling alone is not going to do it. We have got to ask for help. And that's the message this morning, so that we can start getting out of our own way and stop repeating the neurotic, compulsive cycles that we've been committed to for many, many years, often decades, right? All right, guys, I love you. Mwah. Blessings in abundance. I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure you click the links in my bio to book a dream consultation, business dream consultation. Those are complimentary from Von Eaton House, our branding and marketing company. Also, if you're wanting to work with me one-on-one, you can book a one-on-one life clarity and spiritual advising session. We have that. And we also have some new courses and support groups coming up as well that are going to be absolutely phenomenal. We're working on a new weight loss support group. It's called Lighten Up. So that's going to be coming your way as well for those of you who need spiritual support in learning how to lose weight on the psychological, mental, spiritual side, not just taking a pill or a diet or an exercise routine again, right? So those that need help with that on the spiritual side and know that you need something different, Lighten Up is going to be a spiritual weight loss program that you'll want to join. What else do we have coming up? I'm really thinking about relaunching spiritual, like Soft Wife Life. You guys remember Soft Wife Life, the mentoring program? But this time making it more on the spiritual Soft Wife Life side. So you guys can understand that it's a spiritual program, mindset and femininity program. Okay? I love you guys. Mwah. Blessings in abundance. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.